안녕하십니까. 만나서 반갑습니다. 제 이름은 롤랜드 정입니다. 제 이름은 경소문입니다. Hey guys, Roland Chong here with beside me Kyung Soon, here to present you an old project that Mr. Skits, I, Kyung, and many others worked on a few years previously that I have the honor to present to you today. I hope you enjoy. 형, 당신은 에세를 한가로 채타찬가요? 인사했는데요. 그렇긴 하지만 안녕하십니 가라고 했어요. 그것은 북한의 사말이에요. 아, 그런군요.
Hello everyone, Mr. Skits here. So I've been gone for so long. I do and do not have a good explanation for why it's been happening. Mostly personal issues, ranging from personal issues and just me being straight up lazy. But I'm not gonna waste your time like I always do with what I've been busy with and why I haven't been making videos. This is take this as a I'm sorry from me to you, because this is an old project that I have abandoned since 2018, and it's called Roland Chong Goes to North Korea. Anyone that's watching, I'm thinking, has heard of this or has not. The majority has not, because this was mostly just a thing between me and my friends or my closer internet friends. But what this basically was an old pilot that I had done since I was in Austin, Texas, which was 4 years ago. So this is a pretty old one. This isn't actually the first draft. This is actually like the third one, since I had attempted to make this not once but 3 times over the course of 2017 to 2018, with this being the final one. The first one I made on paper and I do not know where it is. The second one I had made on this app that is so old that my iPhone X can't even preview the whole app. It is literally that big. And this is the current one, which last time it was edited was around October of 2018. Now let's get into it. I will go through this slowly but surely and explain on the way into why I haven't decided to continue this project. And why I haven't really, got back to it or never spoke of it. And it took me until just a few days ago to realize I wanted to share it with you guys before I just kind of forget about it forever. Because, in my opinion, looking at this now, it does bring me nostalgia and it does make me wonder what I was doing, but at the same time it's not great because, well, allow me to explain. So now we begin the Roland Chong Goes to North Korea. So it takes place in Austin, Texas, aka where I had started this project. And I only did Austin, Texas because I knew Austin, Texas. It's not like I could have done anywhere else like Minneapolis or Korea itself, because I'm not Korean. I don't know Korea that well, which is another reason why I abandoned this project, but I'll elaborate later. Here is what I was supposed to be depicting. This is like the city of Austin. Here's the Austin State Capitol. And what you're seeing here is the sketches of what this project's supposed to be. If the image is too hard to make out, I'll kind of try to explain. Like this here, this is supposed to be Main Street Austin, but this doesn't look like Austin at all. And this is what it's supposed to look like here. I know, it's very different. And here is Roland's apartment building. It zooms in into his room. And As you can see here, the sketches are supposed to be what it's supposed to look like it's supposed to be zooming into his room here. That says room. It doesn't look very well written, because I know some of you all will probably be hard to make it out. And then it's supposed to come in, and it's supposed to zoom. You can see there on the picture there that it says in Korean, hold on, Busan. I actually never even knew Korean before I even made this. I don't know Korean now, I just know the alphabet and I barely know grammar, which I will explain to you guys on the way. And it pans to Roland sleeping in his bed. I just realized that it says what it's supposed to be saying on the bottom. Alright. So then we obviously move into the script and the story itself. And another problem is blatantly obvious. It's like completely random, like bubble pop plays from the alarm clock. Let me explain that for a second, because I had watched Family Guy and watched their representation on Korea, which watching it now it is just as bad as what you're about to see. Because I don't know much about Korea now as I did back then. I do know a little more, but I mean, what Family Guy did was essentially just take Japan and move it to Korea, since they had done one of the Korean dramas. But when they did go to Korea, it was mostly just making fun of Japan. Korea, Japan, and China, believe it or not, are three completely different cultures. So Bubble Pop was like the only Korean song I had known other than Gangnam Style and anything by Psy, or I don't even think BTS was popular around this time yet. What a different time we lived in 2018. So Bubble Pop, let me try to read this real quick. Panga. It's really hard. I don't know why, but this is really hard to read, and I know both Spanish and Russian. One language that it's easier to read in Japanese, honestly. Panga Pom. Bubble Pop plays from alarm clock. And it is 5:30 in the morning, which is where I used to wake up every day, which is why we Royland was waking up at that time. It's a random fact, but I just wanted to say that out loud. You can see Royland sleeping in his bed. Royland says, "Damn it," and he rises from his bed, as you can see by the red arrow. And then he slams his alarm clock and looks toward the screen. And he gets up from his bed, hops on the floor, and he goes up to the bed, and he goes to take a shower. As you can see, this is a great representation of how everyone feels in the morning. He goes to the microwave. He's making ramen, ramyeon, as you can see by the Korean. I don't know what that says on the bottom. It says ramyeot. Even though I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say ramyeon, romanized, but it's really just ramen. Roland continues to look at the microwave blankly, and then his ramen's ready. You can see by this great animation I did here that he is eating ramen. He sighs at this counter. He goes down the apartment stairs and he leaves. And as he's walking, it's supposed to cut as he's right there. He walks. And you're about to see one of my least favorite scenes here. He's looking across the street. He walks. A car is about to run him over. Roland screams, "Ah!" And then, "Hey, squinty eyes, look before you cross the street." Goddamn Asians, am I right? Elephant's ass. And I don't know why that I added that in the script in the first place, because it was completely unnecessary and it was more offensive and funny. And not even the grammar is right here. I don't know much about Korean once again, because I just bought a Korean book. And hell, even the name Royland doesn't even fit a Korean person, because if you try to write a name like Royland down in Romanized Korean, it doesn't even sound like a Korean name or look like one, since Korean names are usually composed of 3 blocks. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. This, he says, elephant's ass here, and you could see from elephant and the word buttocks right there that it's supposed to be a possessive particle at the end of it. And I mean, I don't know what I was doing at the time or if I used Google Translate, but that's obviously wrong. But I'm kind of devoiding from what I'm supposed to be talking about here. So then he crosses the street, and here's another random character interaction that I honestly didn't like myself. And yeah, I'll explain that one. I was about to say something, but I'll explain that later. Hey, it's Ronald. Nice seeing you again. It's Roland, and it's nice seeing you too. So you going to work, or doing some maid shit, or whatever in that apron you do? I don't know what it says in the bottom. There's going to be a lot of slides where it's going to cut off, and I have written some stuff here that has cut off because I did review this before I decided to do this for you guys. And it's going to, yeah, anything that looks like it's going to cut off, and I will personally read it out loud for you since I have all the script here that cuts off. But for the most part, I do kind of improvise these. I told you since last year, Gary, this isn't a maid outfit. This is an apron. I have to work my job. Being a maid is a job, you retard. Some of these I will read, some of these I won't. Whatever, Gary. Whatever floats your boat. Gary drinks the liquor. Hey, Roy, want a sip of this fireball? There are a handful of reasons I want to drink that liquor right now. Why? Because you're a bitch-ass chicken? Bok bok. No, Garrett, because I am not a freaking chicken. First of all, I have a job right now, so obviously I'm not going to drink right now. I don't know why I put right now twice. Second of all, I have Asian glow, so I'm definitely not going to drink that when I look like I'm a tomato. I think that's what I wrote down. And lastly, alcohol tastes like drinking from a rusty metal pipe. What kind of world are you from to say that alcohol isn't good? Earth. Are you seriously being smart with me right now? Seriously? Ooh, if I weren't drunk right now. You're always drunk, Gary. You, Roland. You really are a pain in my ass. I didn't really like that character interaction because it just came out of nowhere. And you know, I just honestly didn't like it, to be honest. Roland rolls his eyes. And this is probably my least favorite part of the story because he basically goes over who he is instead of just showing who he is as a person. You're going to see it in just a second. And now this is also another frustrating part because this is the part where most of the script cuts off compared to after this, which this literally takes like 1/3 of the story. And just a heads up, the story isn't finished. So this is the part where I have to read from these papers here. And when I was supposed to do this, I'm actually supposed to read in Korean. But the thing was, I didn't know Korean, and I'd probably have to pronounce it phonetically. And I just sound like I pretty much would just sound like a retard. Alright, enough elaborating. Let's start reading the script. Hello, my name is Roland, last name Chong. I was born in Busan, South Korea in the Yeongnam province on February 14th, 1999, and was raised in a suburban neighborhood with two loving but very strict parents. My handwriting kind of sucks from what I'm reading from, because I usually write very fast. So, you're supposed to be seeing Roland Chong here. and this is supposed to be North Korea, or no, this is supposed to be most of Korea. The dots here is Pyongyang, Seoul, and Busan. And here is Roland with his parents cut off. And this is supposed to, Jesus Christ, this is supposed to be Roland, and what this is supposed to be on the right is a paper with the F minus, because all Asians have strict parents, which is obviously not true. My childhood was full of happiness and joy. This is supposed to be Roland and his friends. In the sight of cities like Busan and Seoul was little typo there, was always a wonder to see. Especially the sight at the Lotte World Tower, where you could see the whole city from the top of the building. Okay, YouTube. And that's supposed to be the Lotte World Tower. And I'm gonna be really honest with you, I didn't even know that building existed until I looked it up for the sake of the script. I honestly have no idea what that is. Oh, okay. This is supposed to be the city of Seoul from the top of the Lotte World Tower. And then here's Roland all astonished. When I got older, I wanted to move to a different country so I could avoid military conscription. I was also scared of a possible fight with the North. This is bad guys. And I wanted to live somewhere with opportunity, somewhere I could be myself. The spiritual wonderland of Japan. But I ended up in America instead. And I'm going to be honest with you guys again, I stole that joke from Phineas and Ferb, if you all heard of that part. Specifically Austin, Texas, because this isn't because of the choice of Roland, it's because of the choice of me, because I lived in Austin, Texas when I came up with the idea. And that's where my foreign exchange student Pedro lived. And he also offered me a place to live, which was super nice of him. But I also should have turned it down because his family was full-blooded Mexican. And as a Mexican, this is both true, but also kind of unnecessary. But his family welcomed me very warmly, which gave me the feeling that I was... Yeah, I need to improve my handwriting here. I was going to live it at least... I was gonna... God damn it. I was gonna love it at least a little. I am like really bad at handwriting. They gave me lots of food. Like, I could only eat 25% of the food they gave me each day. Which is another true thing about Mexicans and all Mexicans. We had super fun parties, and sometimes we'd even get the opportunity to go to Mexico. The only problem came when I had work tomorrow. The kids would be the loudest thing. Loudest thing in the world. I think that's what it cuts off and it was supposed to say. And sometimes I wouldn't get any sleep at all. But on those days, Pedro's grandma would give me this huge cup of coffee with the words, "Everything is bigger in Texas," which is a cup that we used to have, but due to unfortunate things, it broke. Or, you know, it didn't even break. It just started cracking and coffee literally leaked through the cup. So, and then we actually ordered a new one, and then the damn thing arrived broken. That's a little fun fact about that cup we had. She would make good for me I didn't even notice that was there. Oh wait, that's supposed to say food. She would make food for me every day as if I haven't eaten in weeks. And she would even tell me stories about how her husband fought in World War II and the Korean War. Which interested me because my grandpa fought in the Korean War as well. Okay. I don't know why my English is terrible here. And with his brother. To this day, my grandpa refuses to say what happened to his brother. And this is what we call foreshadowing if the story had continued. And sometimes Pedro's grandma would be so nice to me that her husband would stare at me in the creepiest way. See, my handwriting is so bad I can't even fucking read what's on the paper. As if I was trying to steal it or something. At the dinner table, in the car where I had to sit with them. I think 50% of the time I was living with Pedro, his grandpa would give me the stare of death at me. So I asked Pedro about his grandma, or his grandpa and grandma. And he responded by saying his grandma really likes visitors, but he didn't know about his grandpa. So I asked why his grandpa always stared at me, and what he said shocked me a lot to even this day. Okay, I don't know why. That's 2 slides. I blank hate you gooks, stay away from my wife, rice picker. And I personally dislike this part a lot because this part was completely unnecessary and racist, especially as someone who isn't Korean. And when I learned he hated me because I was Korean, it made some sense, but I was confused at the same time. God damn it, this sucks so hard. And when I made enough money, I finally rented an apartment and said bye to Pedro's family, and now I live an independent life in the downtown part of Austin, Texas, working as a cook for a Korean barbecue. I'm Roland Chong, and that was my story leading up to where I am today. And so the worst part is finally over, which was that random exposition about Roland Chong. And now we get to the actual story, and it doesn't really get any better from here. Bus squeaks. And he enters a bus. He drops some coins into where you're supposed to pay the bus driver. You're welcome. He walks into the bus and he sits down. And then there's a kid staring at him. Hola, says the Hispanic child. Oh my god. Anyong. Whoa, you Chinese? No, I'm from Korea. There's a really good reason why I hate a lot of the stuff I used to make, and it's because sometimes they're like race related instead of like something that's supposed to be funny. And most of the time it isn't funny, it's just really racist. And I was a lot younger at the time, and a lot of us, when we used back in around those years, we used to just say a lot of edgy jokes, but when we really look back, it was mostly just a bunch of racist malarkey. No, I'm from Korea. Whoa, Korean. Have you eaten a... Oh, Jesus Christ. Slap. Ow, says the Hispanic child. No ser un mierda pendejo, disculpa asiática hombre. Disculpe. This isn't even right, because no ser un mierda pendejo, I don't even know what that means, because it says shit and bitch, and then disculpo is first person for sorry. She would really say, no ser un pendejo, disculpa, this isn't even right either, A-L, it's supposed to be al asiáticas hombre. I think I used Google Translate for that one. And it says disculpe. That's right. Never mind. Justo para eso, usted no recibe cero cookies esta noche. And I don't know why the mother's referring to him as usted, because that's his child. That's her child. So she would have to say, tú no recibes cero cookies esta noche. And I don't even know why she's saying cookies. She's supposed to be saying galletas. My Spanish was really bad when I made this. And I don't even think justo para esto was right. I think it's supposed to say joro, solo para eso. Mama, no, por favor. It was just an accident. And I have no idea what that is. Oh, that's supposed to be... Okay, so there's a good reason why I added these images in, or I'd be pretty clueless. Let me continue. And so, here's his bus stop. And I have no idea what that says right there. And the bus leaves. I need to utilize more colors. And so, this is the part where he goes to the Asian restaurant, which was based after a real restaurant that I had visited in Austin before I left. And they had really good food. It's a shame that we left before we even got to try it more. Here's our new character, and his name is Han, who is also Korean and has an actual Korean name. Come on, stupid ass key. And there's something you're gonna notice, and that's when the E's have like a line over him, and he's supposed to have like a really bad accent. 안녕, Han. Roland, it's very nice to see you again. I think that's how he's supposed to talk. It's Roland. Oh wait, I think he calls him Ronald too, because I guess it's funny to mispronounce people's names. It's Roland, and what you got going on there? Oh, nothing here, nothing at all. Roland stares with doubt. Fine, I'll tell you. I can get the door open. Can you help me? And he opens the door. How did you... You're turning the key the wrong way. Some of these jokes are really bad too. It's a good thing this never came into fruition. Oh yeah, I knew that. As Roland stares. Knew that completely. Well, definitely. Roland stares awkwardly. What the heck? I thought I told Jude to clean up the damn tables. Oh, and I get my hands on him all. And here's our next character. Him. Must be some hard-working employees that got that, partner. Considering the fact they didn't even clean the tables before they leave the restaurant. Shut your trap, Rios. At least my employees clean the tables like it's spring cleaning at my restaurant. He's supposed to have that accent. Some of my workers stay until 10 p.m. to work on the tables. He's supposed to be whispering. No one cares about how frickin' clean your tables are, dog. Hold on. I think that there's supposed to be lines cutting off soon. As long as the quality and the taste of the food is good. And then he's typing on his phone. Your restaurant has a 3.5 on Yelp. Mine has a 4.5. We're in a wheat, buddy. What are you trying to say? I have no idea what a Yelp is. Take a wild guess. And then there's a bunch of math surrounding him because he doesn't really know. And awkward silence. For heaven's sake, Han, he's saying your food is better than... He's saying his food is better than yours. Oh! Shut your fat face! I'm not gonna let some social media site say how good my food is or not. Why can't you just admit it, bucko? Your employees suck compared to mine. Your cleanliness sucks compared to mine. And your food sucks compared to mine. Hand... Well, I think he put his hand on his chest on that one, so this leads to the next scene. Hand slaps Doug's hand. Don't touch me with your greasy... blank... sausage fingers. That's the first time I ever heard him cuss. There's a lot of things you'll notice about my old work and sometimes in my new work, which is something I actually kind of need to improve on. There's a lot of cussing for some reason, and personally I kind of need to cut down on it because cussing doesn't equal funny, and the less I do cuss, the more the cussing actually has some kind of meaning to it, which is why I feel like I need to cut down, not because I don't want to, but because cussing is actually a pretty good thing to use in small doses, because, you know, this is another good example is like BoJack Horseman, how they don't use the F word unless like something serious really happens, like in the first season where Herb tells him to get the F out of his house after BoJack basically, well, he think that he warranted him a apology or a forgiveness, and Herb was like, get the blank out of my house. Or when in the second season Charlotte catches BoJack and Penny and she's like, I never, fucking kill you. But it doesn't really mean anything in my videos because it's just me, Mr. Skits, and Dr. Ray having it out and just cussing a lot because it's funny. Which is why I need to kind of cut down more, to be honest. You get one for free, partner. But your day will come soon enough that your food will be proven to be absolute garbage. What do you mean my day will come? Famous chef Lance Mikhailovich is coming all the way from Europe to try our food. Lance Mikhailovich? Who's Lance Mikhailovich? And Roland saying, who's Lance Mikhailovich? Only the best chef from Kiev in all of mainland Europe. It's rumored he single-handedly shut down over 10,000 restaurants across the world. And they say, if he finds one thing wrong with the food, he'll throw the plate as if it was a frisbee. Hold on, let me go back, because here's how it's supposed to be framed. It's supposed to say, here's Lance Mikhailovich. Here's like images. That's supposed to be Ukraine. And that's supposed to be a bunch of restaurants with locks on them, implying that they're closed. And that's supposed to be Lance Mikhailovich, which like a shadow on his face to prove how powerful he is as a food critic. And that's supposed to be him throwing the plate across the room. And then they say, and request the next item without question. Oh wait, that's supposed to be Roland. And request the next item without question. And he's supposed to be like putting his finger down, implying that he's trying to order the next item. If the restaurant's not of proper cleanliness, he'll start a riot. And he's putting his finger down on what I think is a table. And he sees dust, and he kind of loses his mind. And if you're rude to the chef, he'll spit in your face. And you'll have your restaurant closed just like that. And this guy's supposed to be rude to Lance Mikhailovich with the shadow on his face. And then that's supposed to be like mucus spit. And then there's the guy like on his knees. And there's the restaurant closed. And it looks like the locks are supposed to be on this restaurant. And then there's the crime. And then here's Doug with the hat below him. Like at the end of the story, he has the hat on his chest. He's looking up. And that's why tomorrow, my restaurant's going to be thebomb.com tomorrow. I don't know why I put tomorrow twice. I need to improve on dialogue. Just for Lance to give me a 5 out of 5. And yours a 0 out of 0. Get it? Because your restaurant's not going to be there anymore. Better get a head start on those tables, partner. I actually kind of like this part. Considering I'm already way ahead of you. Doug continues to laugh hysterically. That's like the only part I actually like so far. And then Han's gonna lose his mind. See you never, shrimp. And then I think Han is about to say something. Hey, boss. I'm here. And this is supposed to be our next character, Jude, which is named after a real person I knew named Jude, who was also Korean. You! Han walks aggressively. It's supposed to be him walking. And he's really pissed off, and his arms are flailing around. Why didn't you clean the tables last night? I thought Roland was supposed to do it. No. I specifically told you to do it before we closed our doors. And then this is supposed to be a flashback from last night. And you, Roland, you clean the kitchen. Aye. And Jude? Has anyone seen Jude? And here's supposed to be him sleeping at the table with his, like his iPod on the table. Or iPhone. Han rolls eyes. Han turns volume all the way up, and he's listening to Slipknot. And he's turned the volume all the way up on his phone with the little thing. Jude screams. The hell, you old ass prune. Jude, don't talk to me like that. I was trying to listen to my tunes, man. Jude, I'd probably be completely deaf right now. Jude, stop talking and listen. Silence. Okay, Jude. I need you to do something before you leave the restaurant. And I'm going to make this clear because sometimes you always never do it, okay? So, what's the chore? I need you to wipe down the tables. What? Are you telling me that you can't do a task so simple that my great-granddaughter can do it? I thought Roland was supposed to frickin' do it. Jude, Roland and everyone else who works here cleans the kitchen. And that means you need to clean the tent. If you can't do something as simple as clean the damn tables, Jude, you don't get your damn paycheck. Fine, I'll clean the stupid ass tables. Are you sure about that? Yes, now leave me alone. Han turns and walks away. Dumbass prune. You call me a prune one more time, and I'll slice $10 off your paycheck. He's supposed to say wands because for some reason, this is a joke. Or not even a joke. For some reason, they just keep putting the wand symbol. Like, if you notice in the backstory, instead of when Roland saved enough money to do the apartment, there's like a box with the wand symbol on it. And right now, Han's saying he's gonna slice 10 wands off his paycheck. Silence. And he walks away. Dumbass prune. And then you called me prune again. How do you not remember those simple instructions? Because that shit's lame as hell. But it's your job. But you're not my blank dad. Muffled arguing. Kia pulls in. Footsteps out of car. Muffled arguing continues. And there's our next character, which barely does anything. There. Oh, dear Lord. Here she is, the woman that puts the smile on my face every morning. The only reason why I'm still in the United States. God damn it. She's like a beautiful silk white dove moving along a group of crows. What the fuck? She's why I'm still working in this dead-end job. She's her. No. Konnichiwa, everyone. Isn't my favorite female employee who actually knows how to do her job. Shove it up your ass, you dreaded Korean bastard. I'm cutting $2 off your salary for that. Comment around, Jude. What? You can't do that. Yes, I can, because I'm your boss. Can't wait till I leave this job. Jude, you've been saying that since the day you got this job. Hey, Roland. Got so caught up in Han's dialogue. Hey, Roland. Oh, hey, Mia. Jude and the boss are at it again, I see. Yes, 27th time in a row, and 4th time this week. What did Jude do this time? And yes, I say Jude because he always starts the arguments. And it's supposed to be them arguing in the background. You know, I haven't been really looking at images as I've been doing this. Okay, wait. Yeah, that's supposed to be them arguing in the background. Prepare for this mind-blowing thing that Jude did do. He didn't clean the tables. I like that part. Did you really expect Jude to clean the tables? I mean, it's Jude. The same guy who... At the same time, goddamn. Can't even take the trash. Ha ha ha. Can I get one morning with I think it's supposed to say without. Can I get one morning without everyone shitting on me? I'm doing my best at my job, and I should get the same respect as everyone else at this dead-end job. That kind of sounded wrong. Then why are the tables still not clean? And then he just kind of sits there. Left him speechless. For the love of all things holy, can we just get work started? Seeing you and Jude fighting every day doesn't get work done. Sure, Mia. I think we can start working now. Right, Jude? Oh, shit. That's Han's dialogue. Hold on, let me restart. Sure, Mia. I think we can start working now. Right, Jude? Dead silence. Jude's still speechless. Alright, team. Let's get to work. That includes you, Jude. You still have to clean the tables since you neglected to do your job yesterday. Let's get to work, team. Let's work. Both of them at the same time. Internal screaming. There's supposed to be a part where there's Mighty screaming. Squirt. Jude cleaning tables aggressively. Dickhead. And then he turns the close sign to open. And that's supposed to be the sign on his restaurant. Say they're open. I honestly cannot read that though. Oh! It says, wash your hands, lava las manos, and wash your hands in Korean. Water running. And that is the end of the script. So now everyone's gonna ask questions. Why did you abandon this project? I didn't think it was that bad. Why did you say blanks even though you've already cussed like several times? Stuff like that. And honestly, the project just didn't really seem that good to me anymore. And since I'd already written this like 3 times, I just kind of decided to abandon it. I didn't know enough about Korea and the Korean culture to where I could really write a story about Korea and North Korea and whatnot, because now the real question is, how is the rest of the story gonna play out? And this is what I'm gonna do before I kind of end the video from here. So here's what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to have like a normal work day, and it's gonna be like a little montage of them just doing what they need to do. And then Roland goes home, and then he gets something in the mail from his father or another one of his, family talking about what happened to his grandpa, since earlier in the script it was like something about how his grandpa or dad never told him about like whatever happened to his brother, and then he talks about it, and like his dad's already dead, but he has this cousin named Kyung who lives in North Korea. And yeah, I know I already had this whole thing planned out. And so he decides to go to North Korea, which makes no sense because I don't know why anyone would go to North Korea. But, I mean, that's the whole point of the story. So he flies to Korea, and then he goes to, like, there was this little joke that's going to happen, that he flies to the DMV. I know the script doesn't really make him out to be that stupid, even though Roland Chong was based off a American Dad character originally, supposed to be all happy and crazy and stuff. And then he goes to DMV and he tries to cross the border, and then he gets attacked by the guys protecting the DMV. Or not the DMV, the DMZ. Have I been saying DMV the whole time? I hope not. So then he gets attacked by the guy at the DMZ, or the Korean Demilitarized Zone. So then he tries the next best thing, or like the right thing to do, and then he goes to China, since that's how you really get into North Korea if you wanted to go there. So you go to North Korea, or you go to China, and then you get the plane to North Korea, like a Korean Airlines. And then he goes there, and then he tries to find Kyung, or I don't know what's supposed to happen next. Like, I don't really have everything all planned out. And then somehow, in some way, he meets with Kyung in Pyongyang. He's supposed to meet him in Pyongyang because Kyung's supposed to live in Pyongyang. And then he tells him about life in North Korea, and then Roland figures out about how much life really sucks in North Korea firsthand. Even though, like, no brainer, North Korea is one of the worst countries in the world. Horrible human rights. The whole country's corrupt, whatnot. And then Roland has a plan to get Kyung out of Korea, or like, on my second script, he tells Kyung about how bad North Korea really is, and he's in denial. And so he decides to try to get him out of North Korea, and he like takes pictures or whatever's supposed to happen. And then he gets taken in by North Korean soldiers. I think in like the original script he's supposed to meet like Kim Jong-un, or Kim Jong-un like catches them in the act. But that's kind of dumb and not really what I intended to do when I did this third script. And then they take Roland and Kyung to like a concentration camp or one of them work camp things. And then they somehow escape and make it to Russia, and then make it back home, and then Kyung gets freedom. Happy ending. Everyone gets what they want, whatever.
Hey guys, Mr. Skits here. This is me recording from my computer instead of my phone because I completely forgot to mention about the B plot, because I wouldn't have introduced the other characters if it weren't for a second part of the story, which, thinking of it now, would have been a absolutely horrible idea, because this story is mostly about Roland and his struggle in Korea, and not about a bunch of kitchen staff trying to impress Ukrainian chef. But basically what was supposed to happen was, Roland goes to Korea and tries to get Kyung out of Korea. But at the same time, let me think of the characters for a second. Han, Jude, and Mia try to impress Mr. Lance Bakalovich, and Rios tries to do the same thing too. And they compete against each other, and I didn't know what was supposed to happen. Either they end up failing, or the classic hero trope, and they end up, impressing Mr. Makalovich, and nothing bad happens, or like they're really careful, like a bunch of comedy plot. Like for example, Han doesn't want Jude screwing anything up, so he tries to up Jude's paycheck or something like that. That's basically what was supposed to happen. If I were to write the script again, which after the recording I actually was thinking about Roland Chong and the opportunities I could have had, and knowing how much I know about Korean now, I could actually try and rewrite the script. I would completely cut that out completely and just kind of use those people as like struggles in Royland's own life. But basically, the story is supposed to wrap up by, Han pressing Lance Makalovich barely, and Rios messing something up. I'm not sure what. And then, Han shoves it in Rios' face, and, Rios is all pouty, and he just kind of goes his own way, something like that. And the story's supposed to wrap up with, like, Royland getting Kyung a job at the Asian restaurant, and I guess Jude getting fired. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of improvising this. This is just what I have on the top of my head. And that's basically what was supposed to happen for the B plot. This is just an intermission because I needed to explain the B plot, since I didn't introduce those four characters for nothing. And I just needed to kind of get that off my chest before I end the video.
And even though I did have a whole plan for this, I just got tired of this script because it wasn't that good. It's just been taking forever. This is the third time I've written it. Mostly just because I lost interest. And then I was like, you know what, I might take a look at this again. And I looked at it again, and I realized I didn't like it again. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to abandon this entirely. It isn't all bad. I did laugh at a few parts rereading it, because I didn't actually reread it when I was going through it. I was just mostly writing down what wasn't on the little text bubbles here, like especially in the little backstory here. There was a lot of things where like it would cut off, and that was really annoying, so I had to write it all down. Some of the illustrations weren't that good, so it's kind of hard to make it out, but thankfully there were these images here, like the Austin Bridge that we'd have to cross in order to get to that restaurant. And basically this just turned out to be just one big disaster, and a horrible representation of Koreans, and a lot of the stuff that was supposed to be comedy wasn't even that funny. Sometimes just straight up racist. And I didn't even know the Korean language at the time. Hell, I didn't even know Spanish that well. Like the Spanish, I know Spanish really well now because I've actually been studying it a lot since, my last video. And I actually could point out all the mistakes there were when Roland was on the bus here. But other than most of that, what I can basically boil this all down to is this is a really old project. I got tired of doing it. It just wasn't that great anymore. And this is where I'm gonna end the video. It's kind of crazy looking back at this too, since this is a really old script, and my art style is a lot different from what it was now. So now I want to hear what you all think. What do you all think of Roland Chong Goes to North Korea? Did you like it? Did you hate it like I do? Just let me know in the comments, because honestly, I don't know what to think about this. There are some good parts, there's a lot of bad parts, it's bad representation of Korea, like I've said like 3 times. It isn't that funny. There's like just straight up racism for no reason. Let me know. And this is Mr. Skits, and I wish you all a good night.
다시 오신 것을 환영합니다. Thank you for watching the video. It was a pleasure to be here to present the project again, since I came from Massachusetts to help present, and Kyung came all the way from South Korea to help as well. Let me, Kyung, and Skits know what your opinion was, so hopefully we can be invited back to the studio in the future and make more projects involving us and our culture. Kyung, 준비됐나요? 개톤지. 안녕히 가십시오. 김종에게 영광을. 농담이야. 안녕히 계세요. This is Roland Chong on Skits' behalf, wishing you a good night. Kyung, you could have just said your line and just left it there. He didn't have to add that Kim Jong-un joke in there. That was completely uncalled for. It wasn't even funny either.
닥쳐 씨발놈아 이 지옥같은
Korean bastard, you have to slap me?